episode 418 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I will be talking about tonight's episode of WWE Monday Night RAW, featuring an episode of Miz TV, 2 qualifying matches for the women's Money in the Bank, and a World Heavyweight Championship match in the main event. And we'll talk a little bit of pro wrestling news right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to the podcast tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I am your host, Lance Brock, as always. Hope everyone had a great Monday today. As I mentioned in that little preview there, tonight going to be talking about WWE Monday Night RAW. And after the recap, I'll be talking a little bit pro wrestling news. But first, let's get right into this week's episode of WWE Monday Night RAW. Tonight, Raw was live from Hartford, Connecticut at the XL Center. Commentators tonight, Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. First, we start things off on Raw tonight with the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And as usual, Seth Rollins is over with the crowd singing his theme song. And I just want to say something first, real quick. This may be an unpopular opinion, but some people might disagree with me about this. But I think that the whole thing with the crowd singing Seth Rollins' theme song, whoa, I'm probably saying that wrong, but however it goes, I think it's getting a little too much now. At first it was okay a couple times, but now I think it's getting a little old and a little annoying maybe, but maybe that's just me. And Seth Rollins cuts a promo and he talks about how earlier in the day on Twitter he put out an open challenge for that World Heavyweight Championship. And actually, even before Seth Rollins came to the ring, there was an opening graphic that showed that Damian Priest from the Judgment Day has accepted Seth Rollins' challenge and will face Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship tonight on Raw. And then at this time, we see Judgment Day members Damian Priest and Finn Balor make their way to the ring. Again, that match is tonight. And then next on Raw is our first women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. And it is the man Becky Lynch taking on Sonya Deville. And at one point in this match, we see Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks, make their way to the entrance watching the match. And later on tonight on Raw, Zoe Starks will have a qualifying match for the women's Money in the Bank. And in the back, we see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comments on the situation with the Bloodline, with what the Usos did last Friday night on SmackDown. And he says he hates to say "I told you so," so he won't. And then they are interrupted by Imperium. And tonight we will have a match, non-title match. The Intercontinental Champion Gunther taking on one half of the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens. That's tonight on Raw. And Gunther defeats Kevin Owens. Next up on Raw, the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, after winning them last week, they have an interview backstage, and then we see one of the newest tag teams on Monday Night Raw from NXT, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, and Rousey Baszler get the win via submission. Next up, we have Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Ricochet, and this match ends in a no contest when Bronson Reed interferes and attacks both superstars. Next up is our second women's Money in the Bank qualifying match of the evening, and this one we see Zoe Starks versus Natalya Neidhart. Pretty good match here. Trish Stratus gets involved, distracting Natalya. Zoe Stark hits the Z360 to get the win over Natalya and to qualify for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And Miz TV. The Miz's guest tonight is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody mentions how Brock Lesnar's on his, I believe he called it hibernation, and we're not going to see him for a while. But the Miz brings out a special surprise guest on Miz TV, and it is somebody else that is a part of a wrestling family, Dominic Mysterio, and he comes out with Rhea Ripley. And Dominic says that Cody is a bad father, brings up his daughter, and Dominic and Rhea leave, and at the end, Cody is upset and then hits the Miz with his cast. And the main event of tonight's Raw is for the new World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Seth freaking Rollins, taking on the Judgment Day's Damian Priest. And this one is, I thought, a really good match, actually. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but during that opening segment, Damian Priest says he will compete in this match without the Judgment Day at ringside. And at first, he is all on his own for this one, but then we do end up seeing Finn Balor make his way to the ring, or ringside area, I should say, tries to get involved and interfere in this one. And then when Damien sees Balor out there, he doesn't look too happy. He asks him what he is doing there, or why he is here. And that distraction costs Priest. Rollins gets the advantage, and then eventually hits the stomp to pin Damian Priest to get the win and successfully defend the World's Heavyweight Championship. Pretty good main event tonight, I thought. Kinda had the tease of maybe, I don't know if I would say a breakup just yet, but a tease of some trouble between Damian Priest and Finn Balor here. The Priest didn't look too happy about Finn Balor being at ringside and interfering in his match after he said that Judgment Day would not be there at ringside. And if this is maybe a split or something between the Judgment Day that they are planning, I could kind of see the split going where Priest and Balor have their problems and they end up feuding, and Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley just kind of separate on their own and have nothing to do with them. I could be wrong. Who knows? Maybe they're not even planning a breakup or a split for Judgment Day. But I think if they do split up Judgment Day, that's probably what will happen. Could possibly see, I don't know if Money in the Bank would be too soon or not, or possibly SummerSlam could see a match, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. And so tonight, that was Monday Night Raw. I thought it was actually a pretty good show this week. Had some actual good wrestling on it, and Kevin Owens and Gunther, really good match. And Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, I would say, might be kind of a tie for match of the night between those two, both of them. In my opinion, anyway, I thought were very good, entertaining matches. And now to get on to some news. And there is what I think the young kids these days would call maybe either a Twitter feud or a Twitter beef or whatever the young kids call it these days, between Lacey Evans and the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter, having to do with this military gimmick of Lacey Evans. Sergeant Slaughter's daughter saying that Lacey's ripping her off, and then Lacey Evans came back on Twitter with a reply. And for this one, I kind of side, I should say, with Sergeant Slaughter and her daughter here. I mean, I know Lacey Evans, I'm sure she probably didn't come up with the idea for this gimmick or this character, but I think, I don't know if I'd exactly say copying, or ripping off. And then also I saw that there was some news that WWE pitched an idea of having Sergeant Slaughter appear with Lacey Evans, but he rejected that, and I don't know, maybe she's upset about that too, but who knows. And also, in the reply that Lacey Evans tweeted out to the daughter of Sergeant Slaughter, or maybe not, I take that back. It wasn't in the reply, but a separate tweet, she said for some reason, pimping ain't easy. Now she's ripping off The Godfather, another WWE Hall of Famer. I don't know why she's into copying people now these days. Like I said, with this character, this new gimmick, maybe it was probably just creative, not her idea. But the tweet was her, though, I'm sure, where she said pimping ain't easy. Like I said, copying The Godfather. What's next? Is she going to copy another WWE Hall of Famer with a tweet or an Instagram post or something? And in some more news now, we found out today that tomorrow night on Dynamite, Tony Khan will announce the first main event that will take place on the first episode of AEW Saturday Collision, June 17th on TNT. That announcement is this Wednesday. And in some ratings news, last Friday night, SmackDown apparently did a huge number on Fox, which I'm guessing a lot of it, which WWE is crediting anyway, the 1,000 day celebration for Roman Reigns as the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, which that could have been a big part of this huge rating that SmackDown got this past Friday night. And in case you missed it this morning on the Tuesday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, I talked about New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion. So in case you missed it, feel free to check that out. Also, Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox won the 2023 NWA Crockett Cup Tournament. And that's about it for all the pro wrestling news right now on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed their Monday. Hope everyone enjoyed Raw. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 418. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or anything you want to say, you can leave them right here in the comment section if the website or the app that you listen to on has a comment section, or you could email me 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw. And also, if you have a prediction for what you think the main event of the first episode of AEW Saturday Collision will be, and if you have a product or a business or a company or anything you want to advertise right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic, Good Morning Wrestling Fans, hopefully we can work something out. I'll advertise your product right here on the 360 Wrestling Podcast. And I'll try to do a good job for your company or business. Once again, email me 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. And hope to have more new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you real soon. And tomorrow we'll be back right here for the Tuesday morning episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. And I will talk to you then. But for now, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.